Hey y'all, Bridget Chandler from Athens State University, and tonight I'm making this video the night before spring classes start from home. I hope that you all have had a wonderful holiday, that you've enjoyed some time with your family and friends, and that today, the most beautiful day we've had probably during the entire break, that you were able to get outside and enjoy that a little bit. So welcome back to spring semester. Um, and welcome to CE 580, Coordination and Supervision of Career and Technical Education. While this course has existed in name and description since we applied for the program back probably in like 2015, um, the course itself had not been developed until summer of 2017, and then over the last 6 weeks or so, have I been putting the course together. So just a disclaimer up front that the course is being built in Blackboard as we go through, just so that you know where we are. So if you're wondering like why are all the modules not open or whatever it may be, because if you've been in other classes, once the course is built into Blackboard, we open all the modules. Most of us do that from the beginning of the course. But with this particular course, they are being developed as we go through it. So just so that you're aware of that up front. But the course description is pretty much the title of the course. This course will provide an overview and summary of career and technical education from an administrative perspective. So there are no textbooks required. All materials will come from online open source and or are provided within the course container on Blackboard. So there's no reason for you to try to find any outside materials. Your student learning outcomes. So once we have concluded with this course, you will be familiar with research and being able to research federal and state programs related to CTE. To examine state and federal administrative guidelines for career and technical education, to interpret institutional, local, state, and federal policies, to utilize labor market analysis and employment statistics to inform CTE programs, to develop a system-level CTE advisory committee, which we're going to do quite a bit on that, to assess various career and technical education funding applications, so you'll be familiar with them hopefully. Analyze CTE inventory systems, kind of look at different ones and see what fits your programs best. Conduct a CTE facility review, and explain career and technical recruitment and guidance plans. So those are lots of really big goals to accomplish in this 15-week course. And we're going to do that through a modular format. And when you've been in other courses that I teach and I have anchored, you have probably gotten used to seeing the modules in Blackboard. So those are like folders where you will see different content, and we will address those student learning outcomes and those objectives in each of the modules. So for this particular course, there are going to be 7 modules that you're going to work through. And those modules are, again, very much tied to the student learning outcomes. The first module that you're going to go through is the administration policies and administrative guidelines for career and technical programs. Then the second module is career and technical education programs, how they're selected, workforce development, and then other related programs. And so in that particular module, we're going to be discussing more of how are programs decided based on workforce development regions, like how does that influence the programs that are offered in your area. And then what are some other related programs that are not directly career and technical education, but I call them, they're our cousins. They're like the cousin to career tech. So, and why is that? And why do people associate some other programs so closely related to career and technical education? And then our third module is on funding. So relating it back to the student learning outcome that says that you're going to be able to interpret these policies and to understand the funding mechanisms. So we're going to look at some of the applications, some of the funding applications, and just kind of be able to understand those different applications that are out there. And then outside funding sources, in addition to like state and federal government funding, but where are other funding sources for career tech ed? Then moving on to facilities. I was trying to organize this class and thinking on first, we got to have some policies, and then we develop programs. So I was kind of thinking through where, and so the order hopefully will make sense to you, that it's like as if we were coming from an administrative perspective, and we were going to create some career and technical program that did not exist at all. So I guess that's kind of my organization of this class. So facilities would be the next thing that we would address. So how are facilities determined? What specific codes must be followed? And then what is a facility review? What are the requirements for that facility, and so forth. So we're going to cover that in Module 4. Module 5, we'll go through faculty instructors. So there's really, this is kind of interwoven in the student learning outcomes, because there's not one specific outcome that targets the faculty and the instructors within the program, but is a huge, important piece. There's no substitution for a good teacher. So how do we go about recruiting folks? How do we try to retain people once we have recruited them? Our particular area, career and technical education, probably has the largest attrition rate of any other area within education. So basically what that means is lots of people start teaching in career and technical education, but not a lot of people stay on board. So they may leave workforce to come and teach, and then for various reasons they leave. So we have a lot of turnover. So how can we look at that, and why, and where does that come from? So again, all of this is just going to be really brief, because we could go so deep on all of these topics. Each module could almost be a course itself, but we're going to be looking just kind of broadly at these topics and not going as deep in them, but just kind of get some ideas there. And I want to hear from you guys, especially on the faculty and an instructors piece. Because some of you are faculty, and so what can we do to improve? And so we're going to be kind of talking within the choir, so to speak. Okay, Module 6, inventory. That's next. Inventory and inventory systems. So how do we know what we need? How do we go about? We've talked about funding. So, and once you get a program decided, then how do you maintain an inventory? What does that look like? And it as in all of these areas, they're going to be different depending on the programs. Going back to to number 2, the second module. So your local workforce and your programs that are offered in your workforce region, and all of those things are going to be influenced by what type of labor market demands you have. So therefore, that's going to influence every other piece that we're discussing here. But so inventory systems, and again, hopefully you all will be able to share what you do or what you've seen or seen others do, and we can collaborate some on that. And then the seventh and final module for this course is going to be on students. So how do we recruit students? What are recruitment plans? And then what are the guidance plans used for students in career and technical education? So it's huge, lots of topics. We're going to be discussing lots of things, but I very much want to encourage you all to be thinking about those areas and how you can share your best practices and your experience with the class. So in this course, while there's a lot to talk about, we are going to be doing a lot of discussion, a lot of talking, and again, using the open resources. There's not a particular textbook that addresses all these things, and so many of them are fluid and dynamic. So many areas like funding and what applications are used, that changes. I've been in career and technical education for 21 years now, and I've seen lots of changes have occurred in what we are required to report, how we go about reporting, how we request funds, those types of things. So it's not like a stagnant something we can teach, but we can discuss what's current now. So I look forward to hearing from you all, and just get ready for a great semester. Thanks, guys. Bye.